You want to hop into that first, or you want to tell the people a little bit about, what you do?
Man, I'm here, man. I'm going with whatever flow you want to go with, man. So,
All right, that'll work,
you
man.
know,
So matter of fact, just introduce our audience. Tell them who you are and what company you represent. A little bit about what you do.
well, I mean, I would assume most of your audience would know who I am. I'm Alvin Keels. I'm a sports agent. I've been doing it for 21 years now. The name of my company is Paramount Sports and Entertainment, located right here in Norfolk, Virginia. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm probably known as a 757 sports agent, man. I think I'm pretty much the only one around here that's doing it. So.
Gotcha. So you said 21 years. That means what age did you
start? Yeah,
with?
man. I started when I was 20 years old, man. I started while I was still in college. I went to college at Elizabeth City State University, where I played baseball and football. Okay. And then, my dreams and aspirations were to be a Major League Baseball player. When I started to see that path was either not going to happen or be a long path, I took advantage of my relationships that I had at the time. I had a cousin of mine that went to the University of Maryland, and he was roommates with a guy by the name of Lamont Jordan, who ended up being one of my first drafted clients. And then a guy by the name of Anthony Kaysen, who played at Indian River High School. He played down at NC State, and he was pretty close with a guy by the name of Corin Robinson, who at the time was one of the more dynamic. He may have been Percy Harvin before Percy Harvin. Down there at NC State. He went 9th overall in the draft in 2001, the same draft that Michael Vick. That was the draft that Michael Vick went 1 overall. So, so I've been doing it, man. I've been doing it for a long time. I've represented a lot of different players over the years. I've represented a lot of guys from the area. I was the agent for Aaron Rouse when he played. He's now a Virginia Beach councilman, politician now. Right. I represent D Hall, Cam Chancellor. Currently represent Andrew Brown from Oscar Smith. Now represent Percy Harvin. But I've represented quite a few guys from the 757, even the guys that didn't necessarily have long careers in the NFL. I've always had a passion for working with the local talent.
Yeah. So with you being the first, like you said, the 757's agent, who were some of the guys you looked up to when you first got your start in the game?
Agent-wise? That's a good question, because I don't know that I had an idol in the business. I respected Eugene Parker a lot, who was an African-American agent who passed away a couple years ago. He was Deion Sanders' agent. He was kind of like the patriot for African-American agents. And so I would say I probably, aspired to be the next Eugene Parker, but I didn't really have, I had more of my idols growing up were athletes. I wanted to be like Deion. I wanted to play pro football and baseball at the same time coming up. Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. But as far as the business goes, man, I just always had a knack for business. And I would probably say that my role model was my father coming up as far as business went. And then, I took my love for sports and brought it all together.
Right. So your father was agent, but different type, of course, but he, like you said, he was in business. What exactly did you take from him?
He was just always a go-getter. He taught me and my brother early on, work ethic. Because he never, although my parents, my dad, I saw him go from, I remember my dad used to work at 7-Eleven. Right. And so a lot of people think, all right, he's always been this State Farm insurance agent. He wasn't. He had a college degree, and he was he took a lot of odds and end jobs until he actually got on. And back then it was hard, for, African Americans to start businesses. I mean, we oftentimes, when you look at being Black, it, this is like the first generation where we're actually, where I can say that you start to see wealthy people our age. Our parents were the first to be the middle class, and then before then it was their parents were the first to actually work, and then before then it was like, our ancestors did a lot of odds and end jobs just to make, ends meet, and so my dad taught me and my brother about work ethic, never gave us anything. We had to work and earn everything. And, I also admired his hustle because he always got out and got after it, man. He's been a salesperson, his whole life, and he's been successful, man. And I look to that, and I think I've patted myself behind, really behind him, and so he played a huge part. So I would say he's more my idol than any sports agent.
So did you start Paramount while you were in college, or did that come later on?
No, Paramount's a company that I started. I own my own company for many years, and then I started Paramount in 2015. Okay. And because I wanted to bring on more agents to work under me. As I've gotten older, my role, you constantly redefine yourself or reinvent yourself in business and in life. And at this point in the sports business, I'm really in it to work with the players that I really desire to work with, guys that I truly like and enjoy working with. And then also, I'm looking to mentor other agents that are, coming into the game. So, I've kind of shifted my focus to being, more of like a godfather, big brother type of figure in the business,
Right. Yeah. How many agents do you have under you right now?
Well, right now I have two. I had as many as 6 at one point, but oftentimes this business is a lot like real estate. People come on and, they grow their book of business and they move on to other opportunities. I keep in touch with a lot of the agents that I've helped groom, but I don't necessarily expect people to stay with me forever. But right now, I have 2, and I'm gonna probably look to work with like 5 or 6, and just kind of keep it in that area right there. That's the goal.
Is there something that you look for in a potential agent? Do those guys seek you out, or how do you go about picking your agents that come underneath you?
Both. I have guys that have sought me out. I know I used to run an internship program, which I may spark back up here soon. I just have to have the time because you have to train interns from beginning to the end. It's a long process.
Yeah, I hate interns. I hate them.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man. But I've gotten lucky. I've had some really good people come out of our internship program. Our internship program, it wasn't easy. We would have 40 or 50 applicants, and we only would take 2 or 3. So the vetting process kind of weeds out those that probably weren't gonna make it. But yeah, man. I mean, to answer your question, I've had guys that have reached out to me that I've vetted out and decided, hey, I want to work with them, show them the ropes, show them the game. And then I've had agents that I've gone after that have already, somewhat established themselves, and I've gone after to come on and work under my umbrella. So it's kind of gone both ways.
Gotcha. Is there an academic requirement or anything like that required to be an agent?
To be an agent, this is Josina Anderson. Hold on, Can I take this?
Oh yeah, please take it.
All right, hold on a second. Hello? See, tell me, man, I'll be feeding you the good stuff. Might not be often, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you. You always do a good job. I'm gonna call you when I'm doing this Zoom interview. I'm gonna call you when I get done. All right. Yeah. So, what was your question?
What's the requirements to being an agent? Do you have the academic requirements, or you have to go to school? I know, because I know there's a certification.
It's a certification process. So yes and no. I mean, you either have to have experience or you got to go to school. You know, the NFL has a basic standard requirement that you have to have a 4-year degree and a postgraduate degree to apply. You know, but if you've been in the business, or if you've been an NBA agent, say for 7 years, and you decided you want to be an NFL agent, but you don't have a postgraduate degree, they will make exceptions for those who have experience in lieu of education.
Okay. So I remember at one point on Facebook, I know you get into the Facebook debates too. I know you kind of like
get
into them. And you remember at one point that people were talking about the Rich Paul rule about the guys needing, what was the 4-year degree? You need a 4-year degree.
4-year degree, yeah.
And, you know, you had some people that disagreed. I didn't really know enough at the time to give a real opinion. What did you think about people that said that was the Rich Paul rule?
I mean, they call it a Rich Paul rule not because of the fact that he didn't have a degree. They call it a Rich Paul rule because they created that rule on the fly. It was almost like, hey, this guy without a degree is getting too powerful. Let's try to find a way to limit his growth. And that's how it got thrown out as the Rich Paul rule. But to me, I honestly, just like, and look, I value education. I think that the United States education system is bar none, you know, tops in the world. You know, I value education, but I don't think that you necessarily have to. You can't learn how to be an agent in college.
Right.
You know, you know, a lot of being an agent is about relationships, being able to connect dots, being able to bring deals together. I mean, shoot, because how can you learn? I'm 41 years old. I can't go to school and learn how to connect with a 21-year-old college junior just coming out of the University of Florida. Right. It's really something that you just either have it or you don't. You have to have, I call it the it factor. And so, you know, so Rich Paul is very good at what he does. And what he also is very good at is understanding what he's not good at. And so, you know, I think that you know, he's killing the game right now, man. Proud of him. And, you know, I love to see more of us, you know, make a dent in this industry, because it's been, you know, for many years, it's always been Caucasian men and Jewish men that have dominated the sports and entertainment representation side. And so it's good to see more people like ourselves doing their thing, you know, so I'm proud of Rich Paul.
Have you faced any situations like that where you felt like, you know, I don't want to say people have made a rule against you, but there's been some things in place to kind of halt you from doing certain things?
Be a little bit more specific. Are you asking, has race played a
there we go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, look, man, it's America, man. It's America. It's, you know, of course, you know, it's you know, it's a challenge. And that's the reason why when I'm on Facebook, you know, very rarely will you ever hear me be critical of our own. You know, I think it's hard enough to make it out here, you know, going up against the world. You know, we don't need to give each other a hard way to go. But yeah, man, it's a challenge, man. I mean, just, you know, you look at just the way that many African-American athletes' minds are programmed, just people in general minds are programmed. You know, you know, doing business with your own, you know, a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. But I will say this, it's getting better. It's getting better. Again, it goes back to my example, you know, when we were kids, there weren't many Black attorneys. There weren't many Black Black doctors. There weren't many Black professionals. And then when our parents were kids, there was little to none. And so when you look at it with a lot of these kids, when I first came into the business, the parents were our parents' age. And so oftentimes they didn't know what a Black professional really looked like, because that's not what they were used to dealing with. Now that we've gotten older, and now that I'm the parent, and now you have my kid that's coming up, I know that, there are very good Black accountants, Black lawyers, Black agents, Black doctors, et cetera. So hopefully we'll continue to, progress as a people and look to do business with our own. I don't think that business decisions should be based on race, but at the same time, I think that, I try to help, minority-owned businesses because I understand the struggle, and so, but to answer your question, yes, I've gone against a lot of adversity as an agent over the years, and race has definitely played a factor in it.
As a Black agent, what about representing white athletes? Do you currently represent any white athletes?
They don't really fool with us.
and that's why I'm saying the dive even deeper than that, right?
Yeah, and so that's something that it's probably controversial, but it's true. It's hard as a Black agent to convince white players to sign with you, but and then you have to share the Black players that will give you a chance with the white and Jewish agents as well, because we don't discriminate as far as, if you look at the majority of the Black athletes that come out of college, very rare are you going to come across an athlete that says, I'm only going with a Black agent.
Right.
A lot of athletes go Black, they go white, they go Jewish, a lot of Black athletes. But with the white athletes, very rarely will you ever see a white player represented by an African-American agent. It's probably, I would say, if I had to guess, it's probably less than 2% of Caucasian players.
I can't recall any. I can't recall.
Rex Grossman was signed to Eugene Parker. That's the only one that jumps out at me. I know that there are some Black baseball agents that have white clients. But yeah, in football, it's very rare, man. Very rare. Very rare when you see a brother, yeah, man, I got Joe Burrow, or, we don't get Christian McCaffrey. We don't get, those guys. But that's a whole different subject, because I can go on about that for days, even on down to, the kneeling and the protest that, that had, troubled the NFL's business model, a couple years ago, the Colin Kaepernick stance, and, and I'm all for the movement, because it was always about inequalities and Blacks being treated different than whites. So it was never about the military. It was never about, disrespecting America. But oftentimes those same players don't do business in their own community. And so my whole thing is y'all make millions. You guys can make more of an impact by turning that dollar over in your community more than, kneeling down. I think, and that's why, I kind of understood what Jay-Z was saying. I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan, but I understood what Jay-Z was saying, because it's all right, you kneeled already, now what? Now it's about action and really what's next. And really, we are very powerful economically as a race, man. We spend a lot of money. One thing about us is we spend money. We make it and we spend it. And so, we I think that as a whole, we could make a more conscious effort to try to, uplift our community by doing more commerce within the community and giving African Americans a chance. Right.
Now, your phone, I know the draft this week, man, but your phone been jumping off for a whole different reason. Looked like Percy Harvin, 757.
Yes.
But making a return to football, is that true?
Yeah. I got a random call about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. And it was Percy, and Percy just, we had a heart-to-heart conversation. He was just like, man, look, man, I missed the game. He was like,
Right.
the time away from the game has allowed my body to heal. It's allowed my mind to heal. I'm just in a different place mentally, spiritually, physically. I'm feeling better than I ever had before. And Percy is a man with pride, and we all know that Percy is one of the most dynamic athletes that ever stepped on a football field. And he's definitely
Right.
in the GOAT conversation when you're talking about best high school athletes to come through Hampton Roads.
Right.
He didn't want to go out, with the injuries, and the couple games he played in Buffalo. That's not how he wants to book the end, and so a lot of people will say, "Oh man, Percy must have ran through all his money." Nah, why are we so hard on each other, man?
Right.
That's
right.
not it.
Right.
Nobody's
Right.
saying that about Grant.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you. And you saw me like, come on,
yeah,
man, stop.
it's like,
Right.
man, Person must be broke. That's why he come out of time. Nah, man,
Come on, man. Right.
people step away from their careers to get their mind right. I think that there's been a lot of focus on mental health, over the last couple of years. I think we're seeing it, especially with all the CTE studies, et cetera. Man, it's nothing wrong with stepping away to get healthy, and that's all Percy did. Percy stepped away to get healthy. We all know about the migraines. We all know about the nagging injuries, the hip, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a toll on you, man, when you have so much riding on your legs and your body and your mind, and you just can't get healthy. And so, he's in a good place right now. Now I talked to him. He's very humble, and he's working out every day. And I mean, look, he looks great. He doesn't look like somebody who's been out of football for 3 years. So I'm excited, man. And I'm really at a point in my career where I'm not taking on a whole lot of new work. But when he called me up, I said, Percy, this is perfect. Like this is what I need, because I've been in the business 20 years. It gets boring after a while. Like I've gotten into some other things. But this right here is exciting. And so I'm excited to work with him. And, I think that I think he's going to come back and he's going to help a team. I don't know who the team is going to be, but I think he's definitely going to help a team. I see a contender going after him. I don't know that you go after Percy Harvin if you're in a rebuild mode.
Right.
But I think he can put a couple of teams that are right there over the hump.
Right. And some names, that has been thrown out, Tampa, Philly, a couple of contenders have been thrown out.
Yeah, I've heard Dallas, the Saints, Saints. But think about it like this: like if he's healthy, mentally and physically, what team in the NFL, is so good that they can't use a Percy Harvin, and so, but it's not a money grab. He's doing fine across the board. Smart man, he's coming back because for the passion of the game. So that's what we want to drive home,
Right.
So yeah, in the 757 is Iverson, Ronald Curry, Percy Harvin. You might have some depending on how old you are, Michael Evans. But it's like, 10 names that are always on the list. It's really 5 that are on everybody's list, when it comes down to high school careers. And I know that he's one of them. You can't talk about high school football greats around here and not mention his name. So it'd be awesome. It's awesome that we actually got a chance to hook up and work together.
Yeah, that's nice, man. That's really nice. For those that are not from this area and don't quite understand the level of athletes we have here, for you to say that he's among the best that come from this area, what exactly does that mean?
That means a lot because we've had a lot of talent come from this area. And when I talk sports, that's why I don't get into a lot of GOAT debates because I don't like speaking on eras that I really wasn't, I didn't really understand, But so I'm gonna say that my sports days started with Alonzo Mourning. That's probably as far as I can go back and remember. I'm gonna say Lonzo Mourning. I can't speak to Bruce Smith, even though Bruce Smith is a Hall of Famer and he's number one overall pick.
Right.
But from Zoe all the way to, you know, who would you say is the last great one to come out of here? The last 5-star was probably Vontae Taylor. Yeah, Vontae. Yeah.
We've had a few, but as far as that GOAT, it's only a few that get in that GOAT.
But that GOAT conversation is on. I mean,
it's only
you'll hear. I think it starts with Zoe.
Yeah.
You know, depending on your age.
Yeah.
But even if you're a little younger, it's gonna probably start with Ronald Curry.
Right.
And Percy's always in it. So I mean, he's one of the best to come out of here, and that's hard because we've had guys like D Hall and Dre Bly, and you know, even guys like Aaron Brooks who went on to have successful NFL careers.
Lawrence Taylor, some people may not in Williamsburg, you know, you may or may not consider it, you know, but Lawrence Taylor.
You know, but I mean, definitely.
I'll say Percy's the last. I say he's the last great when it comes. Me personally, I'll say he's the last great.
But then we have guys like Don Carey who played like forever in the NFL.
Right.
You know, Chris Crocker who played like forever in the NFL. You know, and then you got guys like James Anderson and guys.
Arthur Moats.
Yeah. We this area really, you know, we if you want to talk about a small radius, you know, 757, Hampton Roads puts them out, man. You know.
So. Oh no, I seen what you did there too. I seen what you named all the Deep Creek guys. I seen what you did there.
But see, I'm from Oxford.
Yeah, okay, but I see what you did there.
Deep Creek went on a run there for a minute.
Yeah,
you know,
they did.
Because in the NFL, they went on a run, man, with James Anderson, Crocker, D Hall.
Even Ross Side
played in the league.
Ross Side,
they were rolling. If you want to talk about high schools, NFL. Yeah. And Deep Creek is right there, man. I think they might even have the most, you know.
Yeah, they do. They got
Maury,
yeah. Come on to Norfolk.
A couple of them too.
Yeah, come on to Norfolk now. Come on to Norfolk.
You got Cam.
Lay Taylor got a couple. Yeah, Lay Taylor got a couple.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a couple now.
But I mean, like this area, we you know, we pump them out, man. You know, that's why I said is you know, to be a 757 agent is great to be able to work with one of the 757 greats. You know, it's an awesome opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh man, I forgot to upgrade to more time. I've got to upgrade the thing before we started. But so I know it's draft week. Do you have any guys getting ready for the draft this year?
This year, man. I had Cody Ford last year. This year, I wouldn't say we struck out, but it was a weird year of recruiting, man. We just didn't have the reach that we normally do. But this year will be a year that I'm gonna watch the draft just like a fan, and you know, see what my Philadelphia Eagles are gonna do. I'm a fan this year. So,
do you think with the COVID-19 shutdown, you think they had anything to do with you guys missing out?
Not at all, man. I think it was more of the business has changed. The NFL, you know, these guys coming out of college, they would just require such a large investment, you know, up front that agents take a risk on. And so I'm of the belief where, you know, it used to be all you had to be is a draft guy. You know, if I thought that you were going 6th or 7th round early in my career, I would love to work with you, man. I actually love those challenges. But now 6th or 7th round draft picks require agents to spend so much money up front with training and advances and things of that sort. It's almost like not worth it. So really, you know, if you're not a top 75 guy, it's just not, it doesn't fit our business model. And so, I limit myself to just top 75 guys, man. And, you know, if I don't get a top 75 guy, I'd rather have nobody, you know, because that's just kind of where the business is on.
I got you. I understand.
You know?
So for a guy like a late round pick like a Cam Chancellor, you know, what did it feel like with him getting that 3-year, $36 million contract? What did it feel like to see him, you know, go from a late round pick to a contract like that?
I actually didn't represent Cam coming out of college. I got Cam going his first contract extension with the Seahawks. I did. Well, actually, I did both of them.
Okay.
But no, it was great because I mean,
Right.
Cam is one of the examples of a player who actually got better uh, with time. You know,
Mhm.
he may be he may have had one of the most successful NFL careers out of the area, but he probably was underhyped coming out of Maury.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken, Cam only had one Power Five offer, and that was Virginia Tech. You know, don't quote me on that, but I know that he wasn't a 5-star guy coming out of Maury, and he came into the league as a 5th-round draft pick. First year, he was just a special teams player, and before you know it, he's known has his own nickname, Bam Bam Cam, and
Right.
known as one of the most fierce hitters and elite
Mhm.
defenders in football. And so, yeah, I'm proud of Cam. Cam, you know, he came from humble beginnings, and you know, he's always been a class act. He's always, you know, worked hard, and man, you know, comes from a great family. Man, Cam is you know, his story is amazing to me, and I really, you know, love the outcome of it and how everything worked out for him. So,
Right.
you know, but he's a prime example of a guy that you don't have to be a 5-star coming out of high school, man.
Right.
Just get go to a school to where you're gonna get on the field, you're gonna play, you're gonna grow, you're gonna mature, and man, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's all about the end goal. You
Right.
know, what type of professional career do you want to have? You know,
Right.
so he's a good example of that.
Right. You think is his playing
Yeah.
career done? Is his days done?
Oh yeah, he's done. He due to injury, so yeah, he's done
Okay.
as a football player. He
Okay.
won't be coming back, you know, like
Gotcha.
Percy.
Okay. I know. We get a little
Yeah, yeah,
scoop.
yeah,
I
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
know. We can throw a little
No, no,
inside scoop on the end of this
nah,
interview.
nah, nah, that's not gonna happen. Cam's done.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yep.
So going back to recruiting a little bit before we end, man. I know you got your son Trey. You know, Miami commit. What kind of advice did you give him? You know, about making a college decision.
Well, baseball is different than football. I think if he was a football player, we probably would have waited a little longer. Baseball is
Mhm.
kind of like Shark Tank,
Right.
because it's partial scholarships. So you're negotiating. You know, it's almost like as a baseball player, you need an agent because you're
Mhm.
negotiating offers, etc.
Right.
So with Trey, it was just the right fit for him. Everything he wanted out of a program. It just so happened that, you know, he's blessed enough to where, you know, he had a chance to evaluate a lot of elite programs,
Mhm.
and Miami just checked all the boxes for him. You know,
Right.
baseball is viewed as a spring sport, and college is really a winter sport. It's
Right.
cold. You know, they start
Right.
in February.
Right.
So so he wanted to go south, and I think that when he took his visit down there, when he went to a camp down in Miami in
Mhm.
January, and he was basically playing in 80-degree weather in January, I think that sold him. And then the tradition of the program, you know, with all of the guys that have come through the program or guys that were scheduled to go to Miami, they got drafted out of high school, like Christian Yelich and Alex Rodriguez and Carlos Correa. You know, just the tradition of the program, I think, you know, sold him. And then he also connected well with the coaches. And then
Right.
my son is always up for a challenge, man. You know,
Mhm.
you know, to be so young, I've never seen him back away from a challenge. And I always throw him in the fire. I
Mhm.
always throw him in the fire. I remember, um, it's funny because Malik Newton probably wouldn't remember this, but he's a little older than Trey. And I remember Trey being, oh, Trey was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I came out there and I threw him on, you know, out there on Malik's travel team.
Okay.
And it was almost like Trey wasn't ready. You know, they didn't want to tell me. Coach kind of came back to me and was like, well, you know, I don't know if he's ready for this level yet, you
Yeah.
know, but, you know, and so he never actually played with him, but it was just, but I threw him into the fire and he never once looked at me like, Dad, what are you doing? You know, he went out there and played the game and did what he did. And I think
Right.
that I say all that not to get long winded, but going into the college recruiting process, you know, he was looking for, you know, that next challenge. And so he wanted to go to an elite program. Miami's a top 10 program. And, you
Mhm.
know, I think he'll be successful there if makes it there.
Right.
You know.
This is my last question for you, but I want to, because I'm a dad too, man. You get lost in those dad moments. Is it tough for you to separate dad from agent, you know, when you're watching your son, as far as what advice you give him?
No, man, because I'm always going to be dad. You know, I'm dad. I'm dad, hands down dad. As a matter of fact, you know, if he's blessed to the point to where he's going to be able to play professionally, we're going to get an agent. You know, I'm not going to be my son's agent, you know. Now, I'll know what to look for, you know, and I'm gonna be on that agent's back. But nah, I think that, man, you got to be dad first, because that's what they need. You know, they need us to be dad. You know, because when I tell my son that he's effing up, I don't ever want him to look at it like, you know, am I effing up or am I effing up your commission? Which one is it? You know, it's gonna always be from a dad's perspective. You know, so yeah. So I appreciate you having me, man.
Man, no problem. I appreciate you, man. I know you're a busy guy, man. I appreciate you taking your time out your day, man.
Always, man. Like I said, man, I like what you're doing, man.
Thank
you. You know, keep it up, man. And I know that, you know, it's passion first, man. You know, you do this out of the heart because you love to do it, you know. And then I always tell people, you follow your passion, man. The money and the riches and the fame will always come, man. Like, you know, but you got to be passionate about what you're doing. And I like what you're doing, man. And if there's anything I can do to help, man, just let me know.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming back.
Maybe when Percy signs his comeback deal, I can get him on I-64 Sports, man, so you can do an exclusive with him.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right, no problem, man. Appreciate you.
All right, take it easy.
All right, take care. All right, peace.